super golden stars. Now, are there any kind of familiar shapes that we can see? And back a little bit more, right over our exit, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 stars that make up our Big Dipper. Now, it's called the Big Dipper because to many of us, at least here in this area, it kind of looks like a big old spoon in our sky. However, this Big Dipper has been seen by thousands of people, thousands of cultures over, a great amount of years. So this is not the only thing that's been seen as. So we have our Susquehannock indigenous group here that saw it as 3 hunters chasing a bear. Then we have our Vikings who saw it as Odin's wagon. And then we have the Egyptians who saw it as the leg of a bull. There is also some extra things that our Big Dipper can do. If we see these 2 stars right here, they're actually pretty special. You follow them all the way up, and we'll get to something that one of our friends just mentioned. There we go. We have our Little Dipper right up here, and it has a star right here. It's pretty special, and that's Polaris, which you might know as the North Star. And that's because it's a special kind of star. It's kind of sitting at about true north, so when you're looking at it, you can put your arms out, and you can look at your right hand, that'll be the east, and your left hand will be the west, making right behind you the south. And I added little cardinal directions right at the bottom around the horizon, so you kind of see what that looks like. Now, you might notice before I added a Little Dipper, I made some extra lines on this Big Dipper down here. And that's because our Big Dipper is actually not a constellation. And it's because it's an asterism, which means it's a grouping of stars that I made a little picture with. That's actually part of a larger constellation called Ursa Major. And Little Dipper, also known as Ursa Minor. Now, I don't know if you can see, but these 2 are actually bears. Do these look like bears to you?
Yes.
Well, actually, a lot of people are saying yes. I'm impressed with your imagination. I have a bit of a difficult time seeing bears. So for those of us who are like me, I'm going to add some pictures to really illuminate these big old bears. Now, do these bears look normal to you?
Yes.
No? Is it because of this big old long tail they have back here? Because that's what stands out to me. Because I don't know if you've ever seen a bear, maybe pictures, or maybe even scarier in real life, but they generally have little stubby tails. And like most of our constellations in our sky, there's actually a reason behind these long tails. So thousands of years ago, in ancient Athens, this big old bear down here was causing all kinds of chaos, running around, scaring people, going through garbage. So what are these people going to do? They'll call on their local hero. You may know of him. He's got a pretty big, famous animated movie. You might have seen. Might have heard his name. His name's Hercules. So they called upon him, and he crept up behind this big old bear, and he grabbed her by her short little tail, and he swung, and he swung, and he swung, and with every swing, her tail just got a little bit longer, and then eventually, she was tossed into the sky, leaving her this long old tail that's a little bit cut off by a horizon. And he decided, he's going to celebrate his victory. He was walking away, feeling all kinds of proud of himself. All the citizens congratulated him, being like, "Oh my gosh, you're so amazing." When he found another bear. This one, however, was a little baby bear, a little cub, and he realized something. This bear is not just a regular bear, it was a mama bear. You know anything about mama bears? They will do anything to protect and find their young. And he realized the whole reason that mama bear was causing all kinds of chaos is because she was looking for her cub. So what did he do but grab this cub by its short little tail and swing and swing and swing and throw constellations mean that all night long they will be circling right around Polaris in our night sky, meaning this big old mama bear will never lose track of her baby bear again. Now, these are not our only circumpolar constellations. We have another one. I'm going to add a line from Polaris all the way to our Milky Way. And there is actually a constellation right in there. Now, what do we think this is? Oh, I heard someone say a chair. I'm impressed. It is actually a chair, according to the Greeks, who somehow saw this as a chair. But it is not just a chair. It has someone actually sitting in it. And this is Queen Cassiopeia of Ethiopia. And she's not alone. She's got her handy-dandy little husband next to her. You know, the king. And these two also have a little story. So, this is our Queen Cassiopeia right here. And something you need to know about her is she had a little bit of a character flaw, you know, as we all do. And that's what she was extremely vain. Meaning she loved herself a lot and spent all day, every day, telling everybody that she met, she saw, she even caught a glimpse of, that she was the prettiest woman in all the land. No one else could compare. However, one day, she took this a step too far. She said that she was prettier than Poseidon's sea nymphs. And if we know anything about these gods, it's that they do not take lightly to someone comparing themselves to them, let alone saying they're better than them. So what did our God do? He decided to punish Andromeda by sending a sea monster, Cetus, to their kingdom. He said, this sea monster is going to destroy your kingdom. Now, something we need to know about these two, they might have some flaws, of course, but they were generally okay leaders who cared a lot about their kingdom. So they decided to go see their local wise old oracle, and they said, please, is there anything that we can do to save our people? And they said, there is one way. You have to give Cetus your daughter Andromeda. And so they said, okay, well, you know, one person, a whole kingdom, they kind of got no choice here. However, this is not a Greek tragedy. It actually has a hero. So one day, you know, on the day they're supposed to give up Andromeda, they heard the flap of wings in the distance. And that would be little Pegasus coming on by. Except Pegasus was not alone. He had a hero on his back who had just defeated Medusa. And that would be Perseus. As we can see right here, he's holding her head. And he saw the situation that Andromeda was in. You know, she was about to be in a bit of a pinch. And he said, not on my watch. So he used that head of Medusa, and he pointed towards Cetus, and he turned the sea dragon into stone, sinking him below the sea, and saving Andromeda. And then, you know, after he got done saving her, he decided to have a little conversation with her, and then they got to talking, and they kind of liked each other, and then they ended up married, and I'd like to think had a happily ever after. However, there's not the only thing about Andromeda. You might have heard this name before, and that is because Andromeda has a little galaxy right under her arm. I added a little circle for those of us who might not be able to see that smudge in the sky. So it's right there. You can actually see it in our night sky with the naked eye. However, it's kind of, you know, not really visible right now, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you can kind of see what this galaxy looks like. And this is our Andromeda galaxy. It is actually our closest galaxy. And, you know, in billions of years, it's actually going to collide with ours, making an even bigger galaxy, completely changing what our night sky is going to look at. If you know, you're thinking, I kind of like this galaxy. I want to know a little bit more about galaxies. Like I said earlier, not only are you going to get the opportunity to maybe see some planets, but you are going to see some galaxies in our next show. Very neat. Because obviously, I'm more of the night sky, less of galaxies. And now that we've kind of covered more of our main constellations, you have circumpolar constellations, these big old boys, we're actually going to switch to our seasonal constellations. And for seasonal constellations, I'm going to move our sky about 2 hours ahead, just to kind of make them a little bit more front and center in our sky, making it a little bit easier for us to view. So with that, I'm going to move it ahead 2 hours in about 12 seconds. So if you feel any kind of motion sickness or anything like that, just close your eyes and look down. I promise it's going to be really short. So we are going to move now. Alrighty, with that, we have moved our sky. So if anyone felt the need to close their eyes or look down, motion has stopped. Now for our winter constellation, I decided to do a little bit different for y'all. Just because I know it's nice to see all of these pictures and stuff that we have in our sky. Because, sometimes you're like, okay, that constellation's supposed to be this, but I don't really see it. So it's good to have these pictures to illuminate that. However, this portion I'm going to do it more for those of you who might see this show or want to go in your own backyard or somewhere maybe further from the city and try and find these constellations on their own time. So this one we are going to use our stars and our winter constellations to kind of guide us on how to find these constellations. Just because our winter sky has some bright stars in my opinion, though know that all of our constellations are going to be a little bit closer together than they would be in your own backyard. So for our winter sky, there is one main thing that's going to help us find all of these constellations. And it's this belt and this person right here. Do you know whose belt this is? Orion, yes. Orion's really special because not only does his belt help us find things, as well as his shoulder and even sometimes his foot. So you see his belt right here, and then right here is his shoulder. Feel guys. And then if we go to his belt and we go down here, it's his knee, which is going to be our star Rigel. Now I'm going to be circling our stars just to kind of make it a little bit easier because without any kind of circles, it's going to be a little difficult. You'll be able to see my laser pointer, but you might forget where I am. Maybe I might forget where I am. Who knows? It's a big old sky, very enchanting. So we're going to go from our belt, and we are going to follow my laser pointer right down here. And this is going to be our star Sirius. It's called that because it is seriously bright. Thank you for the laugh. I needed that. Now, this is going to be a part of our constellation Canis Major. Now, if we go right back up to this belt, we can follow it up here to this big old kind of red star, though I think in here it looks a little bit orangey. It's going to be, white below Jupiter. And this is going to be part of our zodiac constellation Taurus. And then if we stay right here, rather than going back, just because we're kind of already here, so might as well, we can follow this laser pointer up and up and up to this bright star right here. And this is going to be Capella, which is a part of the Orion constellation known as the Charioteer. And then if we go back down, so then we're going to go to the belt, and then we're going to go right up here to the shoulder Betelgeuse. We're going to follow it directly to our left to this star right here, which is going to be Procyon, which is a part of Canis Minor. And then, once again, just because we're already here, we're just going to follow this right up here to these two stars that are going to be right above Mars. So right here we have Castor, and then below we have Pollux. And these stars are going to be part of our another zodiac constellation, which is going to be our Gemini constellation. Now, before I add some pictures to help kind of see what these all look like, I am going to point out something that I think is a little fun, is there's actually some of these stars that make a letter in our sky. So if we see Procyon, we follow down to Sirius, back up to Betelgeuse, down to Rigel, and then back up again to Aldebaran. That makes a big old letter in the sky. Does anyone kind of see what that letter might be? Yes, it is a W for winter, which I think is kind of fun, you know. I like making shapes in the sky, especially when it kind of really reaffirms that it is officially winter. If the snow outside didn't clue you into that, this big old letter will. And now I'm going to start adding some of our pictures so we can see what these constellations look like and who they are or what they are. So we have Orion. Kind of looks like he's maybe in the
hunter.
middle of a fight right here.
A gladiator.
And then under
A
his
Greek god.
foot, to the left, we're going to have Canis Major.
A
And then
dog.
to the left of Canis Major is going to be Canis Minor. Another little dog.
Oh.
And then if we go above this dog, we're going to have our Gemini twins. And then going to the right of them where Capella is, we're going to have Orija, our charioteer. We're going to see he's a handy dandy little goat in his right arm, or I guess left arm. And then continuing to our right, we have Taurus. And as I said before, Ryan kind of looks like he's in a fight. And now we see he's actually fighting Taurus. It is said that he's fighting Taurus every night. He's got these hunting dogs right here that are supposed to be helping them, but I don't know if you think this, but they kind of look like they're having a little too much fun. And then because there's
Just living
something
their
right
best
under
life.
Montecu's right that is distracting him. And that would be Lepus, our hare. Who's kind of, in my opinion, got dimmer stars. Hence
Bunny.
why I didn't try and help you find that because honestly, I sometimes have a hard time finding it because it's so dim. And with that, we are going to come to the end of our show. However, it's not immediately the end. I'm going to remove these constellations to add all of our official 88 constellations. We're going to watch them move around the night sky as we go to sunrise. You'll find whatever constellation you like.
Ooh.
Whoever speaks to you and watch as it moves throughout the
eel.
night sky into the morning. It may move up, maybe it'll move down below the
Whoa.
horizon, maybe it'll sideways. And it's going to start now, and it's going to be about a minute long, so if anyone goes any kind
Crab.
of this, just, look down. And you'll notice all of these constellations that I'm pointing to right here, where things like Mars and Jupiter are, even Uranus, are going to be purple, and that's because these are our zodiac constellations, so they get a little special color, and they will always be in this part of our sky all night long, so, you never have to look too far, and this is where our planets and sun's going to be. This is our ecliptic line, and right below Virgo, we're going to have our moon. Now I'm going to be quiet here for music so you can really enjoy this.
Jess is walking over from the
Unfortunately,
garage
like
now.
most things, this is the
Mhm.
coming to the end of our show.